Well, just coming off the stage, and there's like 180,000 people out there, and your adrenaline is going so high, and you're doing so much, and it's hard to just put your head on the pillow and sleep because it just goes on and on even after you're off the stage.
Jermaine Jackson built a reputation as a devoted husband and loving father. But beneath the surface lies a story full of tangled relationships, family disputes, and career-altering decisions. How did a seemingly perfect marriage to Motown royalty spiral into rumors of betrayal and scattered loyalties? From secret romances with some of music's biggest stars to a personal life fraught with heartbreak and scandal, Jermaine's story is anything but straightforward. What really happened behind the scenes, and how did these controversies redefine his legacy? Prepare to dive deep into the moments that changed everything. Early marriage and Motown ties. Jermaine Jackson's early life seemed destined for success, especially once he married Hazel Gordy, the daughter of Motown Records' legendary founder, Berry Gordy. Their union was more than just a love story. It was a powerful alliance between two of the most influential families in music history. Meeting casually during a recording session in Detroit, their relationship slowly developed over 5 years, moving from friendship to marriage by the end of 1973. Jermaine was 20, Hazel just 19, and their bond appeared built on honesty and mutual respect. Their wedding was a lavish event, held in Beverly Hills before 100 guests with a reception boasting nearly 500 attendees and costing around $600,000, a tremendous sum at the time. This celebration not only symbolized their personal commitment, but also solidified the connection between the Jacksons and Motown royalty. Hazel, studying interior design at the time, admired Jermaine's honesty, while Jermaine valued openness above all else. They often said that talking through problems brought them closer. Despite the high-profile nature of their marriage, those close to the couple expressed quiet doubts about whether two young people, barely adults, were ready for the lifelong commitment of marriage demands. Differences in small things, like Jermaine loving spicy food while Hazel barely cooked, were the least of their concerns. Both wanted privacy from the spotlight, taking care to keep their addresses and honeymoon destination private, attempting to build a life apart from the intense public gaze on the Jackson family. By 1981, Jermaine and Hazel were raising 2 children in California's San Fernando Valley. Hazel had put her interior design studies aside to manage Jermaine's solo career, a significant personal sacrifice. They lived comfortably, with matching Rolls-Royces reportedly parked at their home. Hazel believed their shared morals and principles kept their marriage strong, and she insisted she had never considered another man. Jermaine, however, sometimes wondered if he'd missed out on youthful experiences but remained committed to family and love. Behind their united front, challenges were brewing. The biggest strain came not from outside relationships, but from conflicting visions between their fathers. Joe Jackson, Jermaine's father, grew frustrated with Motown, feeling Berry Gordy wasn't offering his sons enough artistic freedom. Joe pushed to shift the Jackson 5 to Epic Records, hoping for greater creative control and long-term success. Jermaine found himself caught between family loyalty and business decisions heightened by his marriage to Hazel. When the rest of the Jackson 5 left Motown in 1976, Jermaine surprised many by staying loyal to the label. This move divided fans and family alike, with critics accusing him of betrayal. Jermaine saw it differently, insisting he was simply choosing between 2 companies. But the label stuck, and he became known as the brother who stayed behind. Joe Jackson's harsh reaction deepened Jermaine's predicament, placing him between the family that raised him and the one he married into. Throughout this challenge, Hazel's support never wavered. Berry Gordy advised Jermaine to prioritize his wife, reminding him decisions would affect both of them. Hazel described herself as old-fashioned, determined to stand by Jermaine no matter the backlash. She defended him during the storm and helped rebuild his solo career when the public doubted his choices. Their marriage appeared resilient on the surface, yet beneath the glamour, secrets were beginning to surface. Rumors soon began swirling about other women who had captured Jermaine's attention, threatening to unravel the image of a devoted husband. The whispers pointed toward 2 famous names, supermodel Iman and rising star Whitney Houston. whose connection to Jermaine would soon complicate his life and legacy in unexpected ways. The complexities of love and loyalty followed Jermaine far beyond his early marriage, weaving a tangled web that would test family bonds and personal values alike. Career conflicts and family divides. Jermaine Jackson's decision to remain with Motown while his brothers joined Epic Records was more than just a career choice. It became a defining moment that fractured family unity and public perception. The Jackson 5's move promised creative freedom and growth, but Jermaine's loyalty to Motown was seen as a betrayal by many fans and insiders. His marriage to Hazel Gordy, Motown's founder's daughter, made the split intensely personal and politically charged within the music industry. This move kind of isolated Jermaine in a few ways, like it painted him as the odd one out, the brother who put business and marriage above family, even if that wasn't really the full story. The media quickly latched onto that angle, casting him in an unsympathetic light, like they already decided what it meant. Jermaine himself did express frustration. He said his loyalty was to his record label, not a rejection of his brothers. Still, the label of outsider stuck, and it made everything feel tense at home and on stage, which then complicated relationships with his siblings. Joe Jackson's disappointment was pretty clear. As the patriarch who shaped the Jackson family into this musical phenomenon, he wanted unity, and he expected strength in how they made decisions. Jermaine's choice seemed, in Joe's eyes, to undercut the family's shared power. And when he was hit with accusations, plus family pressure, Jermaine ended up in this precarious spot. Loyalty to his wife and her side versus the legacy and expectations that came with his own name. At the same time, Hazel Gordy stayed firmly with Jermaine, reinforcing the whole idea that family and marriage should come before public opinion. She supported his decision and also stepped into managing his career, which basically meant setting aside her own ambitions. Her commitment helped carry Jermaine through the career highs and lows, so his solo efforts kept going even as the industry landscape kept shifting around them. Meanwhile, Jermaine's role inside Motown gave him artistic chances that somehow went a bit off the track from his brother's way. Being with the label meant he could keep a measure of creative control. Plus, he got a solo spotlight, yet it also had him walking this lone sort of road, and yeah, sometimes it felt isolated. Fans just couldn't fully square Jermaine as a steadfast family member with the professional and personal choices that looked like they were, dividing things in practice. Years later, the after effects of that split still hung around, like a reminder for the family, and for supporters too, that career choices often ripple past the stage. The boundary lines between personal loyalty, family bonds, and business interests blurred. That confusion kept rumors moving and resentments kind of simmering under the surface. Jermaine's balancing act between those two worlds ended up shaping a lot of the way his story was told in public. As tensions between family loyalty and personal relationship grew, further complications began to emerge, fueled by whispered romances and shifting alliances that challenged Jermaine's image as a devoted husband and artist. Rumors and relationships with stars. Among the most talked-about controversies in Jermaine Jackson's life are his alleged romantic connections with some of the music world's brightest stars. Whitney Houston, then an up-and-coming singer, became one name repeatedly linked to Jermaine, stirring speculation about the true nature of their relationship. Their professional collaboration turned into a personal connection, with Jermaine admitting in his 2011 memoir to a powerful attraction that, according to him, never crossed into a physical affair. Jermaine described the relationship with Whitney as deeply emotional, emphasizing the pain of walking away despite strong feelings. Whitney's rise coincided with Jermaine's established solo career, making their partnership both professionally significant and personally charged. Rumors persisted, however, suggesting a secret affair lasting about a year in the 1980s, while Jermaine was still married to Hazel. An anonymous source claimed Jermaine refused to leave his family despite his attachment to Whitney. The hit song, "Saving All My Love for You," which Whitney performed, became a focal point for speculation, as some believed it was inspired by her alleged relationship with Jermaine. The music video even featured a male lead some fans thought resembled him. While neither Jermaine nor Whitney confirmed these details, the rumors persisted for decades, feeding public fascination and skepticism alike. At the same time, Jermaine's rumored connection to supermodel Iman added another layer to the swirling gossip. Known for her own high-profile relationships, Iman's name surfaced as part of the complex mix of Jermaine's personal life, though less documented compared to Whitney. These reports contributed to an image of Jermaine as a man divided between family commitments and temptation. Jermaine's younger brother, Michael, reportedly gave him advice to stay faithful, which Jermaine claims influenced his choices during this turbulent time. Yet, the presence of these rumors cast a lasting shadow, blurring the lines between public perception and private reality. Fans and media struggled to separate fact from hearsay in a story marked by secrecy and complexity. Jermaine was often painted as torn between loyalty and desire, a figure caught between two worlds. His own admissions about emotional struggles with Whitney, coupled with denials of physical infidelity, left many questions unanswered. The contradictions fueled further speculation and public scrutiny. Such tangled relationships laid the groundwork for further complications as another woman emerged with her own claims, adding new chapters to Jermaine Jackson's controversial love life. The affair with Margaret Maldonado. Jermaine Jackson's story took another complicated turn when Margaret Maldonado entered his life. According to her memoir, she met Jermaine in January 1986, just months after finishing rehab for addiction. At 21, she was trying to rebuild her life when a man in a flashy white leather jacket approached her table in a West Hollywood restaurant. She didn't initially recognize him, but soon learned he was one of the Jackson brothers. What started as a brief encounter quickly became a much deeper connection. Margaret recalls Jermaine returning to her table after signing autographs, paying for her friend's birthday cake, and asking if he could call her. Their relationship blossomed with daily calls, flowers, chocolates, and handwritten notes. She describes Jermaine as patient, attentive, and genuinely interested in her past struggles, providing stability when her life felt chaotic. For Margaret, this early attention fostered trust, showing a different side of the man the public thought they knew. The relationship deepened when Margaret discovered she was pregnant in the spring of 1986. Jermaine reportedly expressed excitement about building a future together, renting her a furnished condominium and helping cover expenses. Yet, Margaret slowly realized that Jermaine was still married to Hazel, who herself was expecting another child. The emotional complexity mounted as Jermaine attempted to juggle two households, creating a tangled web of conflicting commitments. Despite assurances from Jermaine, Margaret struggled with uncertainty. She believed he intended to leave his marriage, but found his continued movement between both families confusing. The birth of their son Jeremy brought the situation into sharper focus. Jermaine arrived late for the delivery and left early, pulled between obligations to both families. Margaret encouraged him to spend time with Jeremy, hoping the father-son bond would help stabilize the relationship. One of the most uncomfortable moments came when Jermaine took Jeremy to a Jackson family gathering but failed to return with him. Margaret called Jermaine's home only to find Hazel answered the phone. This moment reportedly unveiled the truth that Jermaine had been giving both women different stories about his intentions and relationships. Both were left piecing together realities no one fully understood, caught in a complicated emotional crossfire. Despite the painful circumstances, Margaret's memoir suggests she and Hazel eventually developed a cordial relationship centered on their children. They even worked together on the production of The Jacksons, an American dream, sharing memories and family history. This unusual camaraderie hints at an intertwined family dynamic that, while messy, sought some form of understanding amid chaos. Margaret's account adds depth to the image of Jermaine, showing him not only as a star, but as a man caught in conflicting roles of husband and father, partner and secret lover. The emotional fallout from this entanglement would ripple through the rest of his personal and professional life, changing its course profoundly. From hidden love affairs to complicated family ties, these conflicts set the stage for public and private upheaval that neither Jermaine nor those close to him could have predicted. Divorce and ongoing legal battles. By October 1987, the marriage between Jermaine Jackson and Hazel Gordy officially ended in divorce after nearly 14 years together. Court records cited by multiple newspapers confirm Hazel filed for divorce marking the close of a chapter filled with highs, struggles, and growing distance. Though the separation seemed to settle an obvious tension, financial and legal disputes followed, dragging on for years afterward. In 1991, the Washington Post reported that Hazel filed a complaint, alleging Jermaine had fallen behind on child support payments. A spokesman for Jermaine acknowledged the issue, but emphasized that attorneys were working toward a resolution. These lingering financial matters reflected ongoing tensions beyond the emotional split, underscoring how complicated ending a high-profile marriage could be when public scrutiny and family legacies were involved. Meanwhile, Margaret Maldonado stayed with Jermaine following his divorce, and together they welcomed a second son in 1989. Many expected marriage to follow this expansion of their family, but it never materialized. Although they built a life and even collaborated professionally, their relationship remained outside the bounds of marriage, leaving questions about Jermaine's commitment unresolved. Margaret's presence during this period added complexity to Jermaine's personal narrative, as they maintained a domestic life without formalizing their union. This arrangement blurred traditional expectations of partnership while highlighting Jermaine's tendency to navigate unconventional relationships. Public interest in his love life continued, often focusing on whether he'd fully settled into one role or remained caught between them. The legal and personal difficulties from the divorce and new partnerships revealed a man juggling many responsibilities: father, artist, ex-husband, and companion. Each role came with challenges that required balancing competing interests and managing delicate family dynamics. This patchwork of identities shaped much of Jermaine's life during these transitional years. The long-lasting nature of the divorce disputes also spoke to deeper unresolved issues between Jermaine and Hazel. Beyond formal separation, their lives remained linked by children and public attention, preventing a clean break. Such entanglements illustrated the difficulties that arise when fame and family collide, especially within the Jackson legacy. As Jermaine navigated these personal storms, his love life took yet another twist, one that would again complicate his history and bring even more controversy to the forefront. Life after divorce and new controversies. After his divorce from Hazel Gordy, Jermaine Jackson's personal life stayed kind of tangled, and it kept getting watched very closely. He carried on a relationship with Margaret Maldonado, the same person with whom he had already started a family, but they never actually turned their bond into a marriage certificate. Instead, their partnership became this long-term home life, with plenty of everyday teamwork, but also some very real personal highs and lows. Honestly, this unusual setup just kept feeding the public curiosity about Jermaine's romance and the decisions he kept making. Later on, Jermaine did remarry, except this time the woman was already connected to the extended Jackson orbit. That detail caught a lot of people off guard, and it opened up yet another confusing chapter in the same ongoing story about him. When family ties and romantic links mix so directly, it doesn't just stir headlines, it also makes his public image more complicated, and it leaves people wondering about the internal feelings and power balance inside the Jackson dynasty. Fans and media stayed alert, trying to read between the lines for whatever change might come next. Across these years, Jermaine's role in the music world seemed to soften, at least in terms of attention, because more of the spotlight kept shifting toward his private matters. His creative career ended up tangled with personal controversies, so sometimes his work got eclipsed. Still, he kept showing up, working, collaborating, and trying to assert his spot within the wider Jackson legacy. His persistence, at least to observers, looked like a real attempt to remain present and relevant, while the pressure kept building. Jermaine's personal decisions, especially when it comes to relationships and family, have been met with mixed reactions, like people sort of nod 1 minute, then frown the next. Some admire his efforts to juggle messy circumstances and still honor commitments to multiple children. Others, though, criticize what they see as instability and the contradictions between his public image and his private routine. That back and forth, it kind of sticks around and becomes a defining thread in how his story gets told, so it's difficult for anyone to make one clean conclusion. What stands out in Jermaine's relationships is that it looks less like a simple romance story and more like a man moving through obstacles tied to identity, and also whatever expectations were placed on him. Being part of one of music's most famous families means the attention was constant, and the scrutiny is the kind few people can handle without a struggle. His choices often played out on a public stage, and that stage really magnified every flaw, raising the stakes each time a new decision showed up. Jermaine Jackson's life reveals how fame and family can create messy, complicated stories that go far beyond the spotlight. From early love and loyalty to tangled relationships and lawsuits, his journey shows how the personal truly shapes the public. If you found this story compelling, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives behind the legends. What's your take on Jermaine's legacy? Let us know down below.